Hey guys, I wasn't recording until just now.
Oh my God.
Which would have been fine, except for the people who can't record. All right, I'm not even going to think about it.
Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones, Indiana It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones, Minute.
Welcome back again to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the show where we discuss the film Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny 3 minutes at a time. I am Tom Taylor.
I'm Action Vehicles buyer, Pete Mummert.
I'm Gerald Christopher, best boy grip porter.
Ew.
I'm Jamie. I have a PhD in archaeology, but I am not a working archaeologist anymore.
Oh.
But I am here to talk about Indiana Jones.
Woo!
And I'm Neil, and I didn't have a role in this movie lined up as a nickname because I didn't watch the minutes.
This has the chefs. You can be one of the chefs.
Yeah,
you know?
oh,
The
that'd be
chefs.
beautiful.
There you
Yeah.
go. Perfect.
Yeah.
I did listen to the minutes though, so we'll get on to that.
Okay.
But
I do
the
appreciate
listeners-
that you listened to the minute of credits.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you guys credits people? Are we all people who sit and watch the credits at the end of a movie in the theater?
No.
I sit and listen to the music, but I tend not to pay much attention to what's on the screen.
I just want to see if Nick Fury's going to show up at the end of any movie and introduce a new exciting chapter that's going to happen.
Those jerks at Marvel have now got us sitting in the movie theater for an extra 15
Yeah.
minutes.
They do.
15
if you're
growing
lucky.
up with you, Tommy, you would force me to sit until the very last moment of film.
I did.
And
Yeah.
And you know what? I did not do that with any other friends or film watching groups, but I did
That's
earn
touching.
a level of respect for how you approached it, and I would get up and you'd be like, "Now sit back down, Jerry. The movie's not over."
I would.
And I kind of did. It did instill a level of respect. And living in Los Angeles, definitely people remain till the end of the credits.
Oh, really?
That's
Because all their neighbors are
They all
probably
want to see
in
their
the
names,
credits,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And of course, easy when you watch stuff on streaming, like you don't have a chance. It's like final beat of the movie, and now you should watch this, and like all these things pop up and totally take you out of the movie as you're trying to just like
That is really crazy.
Yeah, it's
I've
obnoxious.
noticed that. And because you should have a beat or a pulse at the end of the movie, and like 2 or 3 or 4 minutes is a perfect amount of time where, the plot or the ending or the denouement, whatever settles. And it is crazy. It's like, next up, brought to you by Butterfinger.
See, I like that you can sit. I like this. Like I like being like Neil and sitting and listening to the minute or the credits, because then you can sort of reflect on everything you've just experienced.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Well,
ease yourself
and also-
out of the movie.
And
That's
also
a
the
lot of
music is
interiority.
like, the music's like one of the best things in this movie. So
Coming out swinging.
Experience it. I'm actually a little sad that that we didn't get a set of minutes with some action in it, because my favorite part of this show is when Tom has to describe what's happening in the minutes.
Oh, well, hey, I can do that for you, Neil. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
These are
Let's do it.
minutes 151 to 153, and they begin with a big block of musicians' names leading into the Electric Team's credits. And then we get a bunch of special effects credits, not to be confused with the visual effects credits that we got earlier. And the minutes end with the unit drivers, the truck drivers, and the security team.
And it had
That wasn't
action.
as exciting, but
Well, it had
drives,
action
yeah.
vehicles coordinator and action vehicles buyer, and to me that sounded like the dream job of a kid in the '70s.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because it's like every toy was like Mobile Action Command or Action Man or
I
some
want
kind
two
of action
tuk-tuks,
vehicle.
and I want a boat, and I want a yacht, and I want...
The toys in the '70s were more fun though, because they were all like all terrain. It was like they'd all have treads for the mountains, or like shark
Yeah.
guns, or helicopters,
people.
or yeah.
Were they different people, Pete? Those two people?
Yeah.
So
There was a
there's
whole team,
there's
an
a
action vehicles
coordinator,
team.
and then the
Wow.
coordinator can't do the buying themselves.
Apparently, yeah.
They have to get another person.
Yeah, you just coordinate the
to-
buyer.
Okay.
Did you buy that truck
These
yet?
peop- there's a lot of
Yeah.
people being involved, I don't know.
Well, that reminds me. These credits were very British, and it made me think of you, Neil. But it had because I learned a new term, charge hand. They had charge
What's that?
hand sculptors. And I'd never heard that term before.
Do you know
Nope.
what a charge hand is? Because I don't.
No,
Somebody look it up.
it's a skilled worker who leads a small team. So in this case, like I guess it was the sculptors who led a team of sculptors were charge hands.
All right, so wait, I gotta ask. So is that like, if you have like sort of all hands on deck, or lend a hand, or well, why don't you get up, rouse the hands and help them? But then if you put
Rouse
the
the
word
hands?
charge,
Yeah, rouse the hands, Jim.
if you put the word charge in front of it, does that really sort of like a mashing of the two? Like you're in charge of the hands? Like
Or is that where in charge comes from? The term charge? Like a guy was a charge?
Or like, are you in charge of the, I don't want to say the
Jamie's
plebes,
not buying it.
but the regular workers?
Answer it for yourself, Neil. Like, yeah, you got to.
The person in charge has surely been charged with leading. That's the
Yeah.
they've been charged to do this
I agree with Neil.
leadership thing.
All right.
Thank you.
That makes sense. I agree with you both.
Well, you've spent a lot of time in the UK, so you.
Just the fact that Jamie agreed with me there, I'm done. It's not going to get any better than that. No, but can you do me a favor, guys? When you're done with all this, can you clip up all of the bits where Tom describes the minutes so that we can all
Wow.
just listen to the entire movie?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
in one go?
Brilliant.
Maybe that's our last episode. We've been struggling with that. Let's do that. I'll do all the
say,
work. You guys can just chill.
You did not do that this minute, obviously. I mean, you did. You
I thought I
plugged
did a
it in.
great
Yeah.
job, Jerry.
You
How
did a
dare
great
you.
job, but I'm with Neil. I really loved that.
Aw,
It's my favorite thing.
thanks, you guys. That's nice.
Because it's just an effort, isn't it? It's an effort that it's a job that Tom has to sit and do.
Yeah.
Right?
true.
He's
And
charged
That's the
with
worst
doing
homework
it.
I've ever had.
He's charged.
Most importantly, it's a job I don't have to do.
That's what gets me through it. Well, I'm
Yes.
doing this for Pete and Jerry. I'm doing it so they don't have to.
Well, he's doing it so we can understand what happened in the minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You couldn't
it
have
helps me
understood
too.
without it.
right.
Some of them we definitely wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue into JV and Neil. We would love to hear your thoughts on this movie.
Well, Pete, my thought on the movie is that I have not seen the movie
Whoa.
because I am keeping in my head my perfect ideal final Indiana Jones movie,
Smart.
which is that Short Round is an adult, has gained a PhD in archaeology from a university in China, and is now teaming back up with older
University in
Indiana
China.
Jones to liberate Chinese artifacts from Western museums.
Nice.
So that's the
Oh.
movie that I've imagined, and I
That
don't
was
really
pretty
want to
close to the
sully it with
movie.
anything else.
Yeah,
It's
you'd
Short
be
Round.
It's
surprised.
almost exactly the movie. Yeah.
They gender swapped Short Round as a British woman, but other than that, yeah.
Okay.
Well, Jamie, you mentioned that you were in archaeology and you're out of the field of archaeology. Now we've experienced through this entire podcast people who have said, Indiana Jones got me into history, got me into archaeology. I became an archaeologist because of him, or I did you get out of archaeology because of Indiana Jones?
Or because of the Indiana Jones minutes.
No. I miss archaeology, but I would say that what got me out of it was the government not funding it very well. So had to go find a job that was different.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Well,
Is
we
that,
need
do you
more-
think there's a possibility that'll come back and that you can get back into it? In
Yeah.
some capacity?
If a possibility ever comes up, I would love to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You
hope
just
that
need a Marcus Brody to, facilitate the museum
Yeah.
buying
Yeah.
these artifacts.
I need
That's what
some
happens, right?
Wealthy patron. If anyone
Right.
knows of wealthy patrons,
Donovan,
Hook me
that's
up.
who you need.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice guy. Yeah.
Go work for Donovan.
I just won't Google him like too deeply.
Parties.
I'll just
the
believe the
frocks.
surface level. It'll be fine. That's never hurt anyone before.
Think of all the champagne you'll drink.
Yeah.
I drink champagne so well. That's like a high level skill I have. So,
You know what is interesting though, thinking about Marcus, and you're like, okay, so they really are, the trinkets that are on Indy's desk are literally there for him to sort of get the plane ticket to Marrakesh and to do. I mean, that is what he's doing in a way.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't. I guess he lacks. Certainly in Raiders, he lacks the government spending. He has to go to Marcus, and Marcus has to like almost give him like pocket cash.
Oh yeah.
With these, it's kind of crazy. I mean, as you wonder. So the Third Reich gets behind their archeologists.
Yeah.
They're
true.
funding the
Yeah.
Ark of the search for the Ark of the Covenant.
Say what you will about Hitler.
He did fund weird archaeology.
He paid for his looted stuff.
But to
I
be
guess
fair,
ultimately the U.S. government gets behind it, but
yeah.
Money is fine, but the situation is totally
I'm
unacceptable.
not sure how comfortable I am with where this is going.
Like,
Come on, Pete.
Indy racks up like a huge expense. We see him do this over and over again. Like when he's flying on the Clipper, like those plane tickets were like the equivalent of $40,000.
Oh yeah.
And forget
You
the
know,
train
just to
ride
get over-
from Connecticut to California to get to the Clipper ship.
Exactly. That was
See?
probably a lot too. So he needed a wealthy patron, and so do I. So again, if anyone out there is wealthy,
Any listeners?
let me know.
Well, Jamie, you say you haven't seen the movie, but have you heard about the movie? Have you?
Yes,
or
I've
have you-
heard a lot about it.
Okay, so
Yes.
you know like some of the key things that happen, and
And I know where it was filmed and that kind of thing.
okay,
Yeah.
The things that happen in the movie, or not? so
No,
much?
but I don't mind if you spoil me. That's fine.
Well, we don't have to. I was just, I wanted to get your take on what you had heard, I guess, and if it hasn't piqued your interest hasn't been piqued enough yet to break the seal and see it. I guess.
Yeah, like I said, I have this ideal version in my head, and I just don't want that to go away.
Now, have you been able to erase Crystal Skull from your mind to that end, or
No, unfortunately, I know that one pretty well.
okay, all right.
Partly
Were
due
you-
to this podcast. So
were you able
Sorry.
to use the Crystal Skull to erase Crystal Skull?
Oh, that'd be that'd be handy.
Yeah.
The irony.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, then, Neil, you say you at least listened to these minutes, but have you seen the whole movie?
Yeah, I saw it when it came out at the movie theater, and then I watched it a couple of days ago for the show. Like it's not a bad movie. I think it's. I did put quite a bit of thought into this the other day when I was watching it, and I think where I've got to is that it's a movie that doesn't really trust what really made Indiana Jones special. And it's missed a lot of things, and it's tried to pack some stuff in, and it's obviously decided that it's not going to pack some stuff in. Like, for example, it didn't bring Short Round back, which a lot of people were sort of speculating. There's no, not going to do that. But it's sort of missed some key things, and like, I think it's like you always sort of go back to Raiders, right? I mean, it's the original one. And it's a serious movie. I think Spielberg took it seriously, but it's also an earnest pulp, right? It's almost got a comic booky kind of thing about it. And I just don't think they're taking this one seriously, or they're not leaning into the pulp origins of the character. And they've sort of like, okay, he's older, I get it, but I think they've sort of missed what the real essence of the character is. And I think that a lot of it also goes to what they do with him. Like, the movie sort of gestures at the space age, and the end of sort of adventure archaeology, but it never really analyzes it. It doesn't even dramatize that. It literally goes into adventure archaeology, and I think a lot more interesting a movie would have been, having Indy realize, like in real time, that what he does and what he's done for the last sort of how many decades might not be sort of it might be ethically outdated and might not be.
I love that.
He's the one that's becoming extinct.
They had a couple of chances to do that too. Like she
Yeah.
calls him out on being a grave robber or something. I forget how she phrases it, but he's like, "I'm not a grave robber. I forget what he said, but he kind of he brushes it aside, and but she's trying to label him as that. And there's also that scene at the I forget everything about this movie already, but they're at that like sort of they're going to the ear of whatever and stuff, and there's that tourist thing, and all these tourists are there, and we said at the time like, this would have been a nice moment of like, I almost kill myself trying to get into these places, and now people can just buy a ticket and just waltz in there, and like there was a lot of opportunity for like building on that space age, the world has moved on sort of thing.
Oh man, I wish we could have gotten that now.
Yeah. Next time, Pete. I'm sure they'll do another one.
Neil, I think that's, I did not think about that enough. And you're saying, like, so much of what they do is uncovering, I don't know, what's buried in the earth. That's what you feel like, right? But then, of course, there's the whole moon thing and the discovery, and it's not of this earth, literally. And they have some great scenes or shots, like Indy on the subway with the kid and the astronaut. And you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And even waking up in the party below at 8 o'clock in the morning, I actually really like that. But you're right. I think that could have been woven in stronger, and that would have been fascinating. And that would also play into Indy's vulnerability. He says he's been shot 9 times, and he had voodoo performed on him. So that could have been used a little bit as a better arch. I wouldn't be surprised if James Mangold had that in his mind, but maybe ran out of time or something.
Well, I mean, when you start the movie, right, and Indy's just sitting there in his chair watching the TV or whatever he's doing, maybe we've had all of that. Right, and maybe he's feeling like the world's moved on and the world doesn't need Indiana Jones anymore. But that's the bit I wanted to see him discover.
Yeah,
because the way the movie shows it, it feels like the movie just doesn't want Harrison Ford in this role anymore. It's not that archaeology's moved on; it's just that he's aged out.
Yeah, like, well, we're making another one, but we have to do it this way because he's this age. And wouldn't it be fun if we just had somebody who was totally down with the space age or something? Or, we could...
But instead they just said, oh, let's just let him punch another Nazi and then, we can all move on. And it's like they just missed so much that, they missed a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Neil, when you watched the movie again recently, did you understand why he put the hat up in before he punched a Nazi in the face?
There's a lot of hat stuff we're still working through in this movie.
I mean, that's a real
Literally
question.
all
Because
that
the
stuff.
hat
I think
is
it serves 2 purposes. One is to soften the blow on the knuckles because it's a nice felt surface.
Oh, we hadn't thought of that.
No.
2 is because later on, I think in at the auction scene, wherever is that, Tunisia? I forget where they go for that. But when she's auctioning off the bits and all the guys around the table, the bad guy, what's his name, doesn't recognize Indy, but Indy recognizes him, and I think it's because the hat came up too quick. He got a shot of Mads Mikkelsen, but the hat came up too quickly for him to get a look at Indy. But anyway, but then there's no payoff because I think they just establish who they are. And yeah. But I think there's got a couple of other problems that I scribbled down, right? And I think one is that Helena is a jerk.
Yep.
Do
you think that throughout the whole movie? Like, you don't?
Yeah,
okay.
I do. And she, like, first of all, like, she obviously she puts Indy in like grave jeopardy at the start. Obviously, she's only in it for the money. It makes you not really like her. It's like, not only that, but like, it makes you resent her. Like, I'm sorry, Jamie. There might be some spoilers here.
No, go for
a movie
it.
you'll never see.
But
I've read the Wikipedia page. I've listened to you guys. Go for it.
Okay.
It really makes you resent her for not leaving Indy in the past.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's how I felt about it, because she takes it out of his
Jamie's
hands.
going, what? Leaving him in the past? What are you talking about?
Like he wants to stay, right?
Yeah.
I think, and God, he's earned the right to decide his own future,
Even if Salah
or
has
past or whatever. And yeah, but she just takes it out of his hands, and yeah, I didn't like that, and I think, she, like, just getting back to sort of her role in the movie, she seems to fill the same role as Henry Jones Sr. in Last Crusade. She's the emotional sort of appendage that Indy has in the movie. Maybe appendage is not the right word, but the movie forgets to make us love her.
Yeah.
But it did with Sean Connery.
she gets a little more interested or more invested in what's going on, but that doesn't mean that we necessarily suddenly see her as a true blue friend of Indy or of us.
Well, I think it's a shame because I think part of the reason Sean Connery pulled that off so well is because he's such a lovable person, like on the screen, and I feel like she could have been as well. They just didn't give her that opportunity. Mm-hmm. Like I think, like Neil said, they painted her in such a negative light for the first half of the movie. It was hard to come back from that.
So, Neil, would you say that she suffers from Mac-itis? Is that, I mean, well, we didn't really know what to do with Mac, you know,
or Mutt, yeah, maybe.
Because Mutt is another we're supposed to feel some sort of emotional attachment to this character, because they're attached to Indy.
Yeah.
This is why Short Round should have come back. Anyway, we already had an emotional investment in him.
Correct.
Can you think of a reason why they haven't brought Short Round back? Especially like, I forget the timing of it, but like, I know he had his resurgence. Kiwi Kwan did after this movie, or is that true? Or
no,
is it before this movie?
It was before this movie, or it was like right around this movie, because Everything Everywhere All at Once came out in like April 2022. Mm-hmm. So, and this movie came out sometime in 2023.
Yeah, and it had been going for a while. They were making it over like COVID and everything. So so it might have been too late for that. But yeah, just the character himself, like why? I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, Jamie, you're gonna have your mind blown, but I think the character in this movie that did get the most emotional resonance was actually Mutt.
Oh, kind of, yeah.
Oh, that's kind of
he
brilliant.
died, right?
He did. He died on the way back to his home planet.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe because that actor is so discredited now.
Yeah.
That's funny. He gets to have an emotional afterlife.
Okay, let me ask you, Jamie, since you haven't seen the movie, so you're not. I'll just describe this to you, and you tell me how
Start
this
to finish, Tom.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We open with the Lucasfilm credit. Oh.
I agree with Neil that he's probably the hat to cushion his fist. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Although, honestly, I think he drops the hat before he punches him. I don't think he punches him through the hat. I'm not sure. It's been a while. Anyway. Okay. Speaking of hats, Indiana Jones. He's in the 60s. This is the end of the movie. He's been reunited with his estranged wife, Marion Ravenwood. They are embracing lovingly. They've just reenacted the Katanga boat scene where Doesn't It Hurt? We go outside. All of our other buddies in the movie are running down the street to get ice cream. We pan up the side of the building, and we see Indy's hat on a clothesline, and a hand reaches out, grabs the hat, and that's the end of the movie. What does that ending say to you? I know there's a ton of like context and stuff that I'm not giving you, but does that sound like a good ending, a satisfying ending, an emotional ending?
Is it obvious whose hand it is? Is it Indy's hand?
Thank you for asking.
I think when you don't think about it too hard, the obvious implication is that it's him. But when you start to think about it, well, I don't know. Could be Marion.
Okay.
Could be.
Yeah. It could be us.
Yeah, not letting go.
I mean, to me, that's like a very Hollywood ending for this guy, right? Like all his friends are getting ice cream and he's reunited with the person he was in love with when he was in his 20s. That's like a very pat way to end the story. Mm-hmm. But who is Indiana Jones? Like, he is a Hollywood creation who is in a genre that is designed to have, like, the hero gets his good ending. So is it satisfying as, like, the story to a person's rich and varied life that all of the characters who were important to him keep returning constantly and he doesn't seem to have growth? Probably not. But he's just a character. So... I agree with Neil about like that pulp genre being kind of interesting and something that throughout the movies you see get more discarded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even in Last Crusade, like that's really kind of falling away. As much as I love Last Crusade, so.
Yeah. My sister just watched Last Crusade last night, just randomly on TV. She's like, oh, this is like maybe like the second best one. Like this is much better than like Temple of Doom, right? And she's like, she's a casual indie fan. And I'm like, maybe most people would agree with you, Kath, but for me, Last Crusade you just made me think of it more. I gave a bad answer to her, but you just made me think of it more clearly, that where Raiders is like, kind of a pulpy, cool, punchy in the face kind of adventure. And yes, absolutely a crowd pleaser. But then Last Crusade is just a summer blockbuster. It's like a blockbuster adventure with all your old pals. And maybe they'll punch somebody, but it won't hurt too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I like Marion, I don't like that she came back. So that's my own axe to grind.
Well, Marion in this movie is just nothing more than a footnote. I mean, and this is another issue that I've got with this movie. It's supposed to be a big farewell, but it seems to be oddly uninterested in Indy's relationship with Marion. It gets a cursory mention on the boat scene, but it doesn't get examined. We don't see them really interact too much, and she bookends the movie, right? Like.
Yeah, she's kind of Luke Skywalker in Force Awakens. It's like everybody's talking about her and thinking about her, and it's sort of affecting Indy's mood, like what's going on with him and Marion. But you're like, oh, we've just been robbed of having Marion in this movie the whole time.
And then she shows up and throws the movie out, like, over the cliff.
Yeah. At the end. My God. That was the beginning of the good movie, Pete.
Well, Neil, you brought up something fascinating where you said that, Wombat should have left Indy in the past, and she robbed him of his agency. And we've talked about this, a lot, and we kind of thought, well, she saved him she saved him and all of us for his bad decisions, and we looked at the sort of the arc of his life and his character, and now maybe he's losing, I don't know, the plot, or he's losing a certain morality to it. I'm not sure, but she had to save him or punch him into making the right decision because he was too fuzzy at the end there. But you're saying no, he knows who he is, he's earned this, and he's going to sit there, watch the Battle of Syracuse erupt before him and get stabbed in the heart, and that's that.
And he's a smart enough guy to not mess around with timelines and stuff. That surely can't be the issue. You said it, Jerry, agency, right? If there's one thing Indy has in all of these movies, it's agency. He is the man of action. He does things that he wants to do to achieve his goal, and it just gets robbed from him at the end.
Do you think that's on purpose? Like, although that is true, he's the guy who gets a Chachapoyan idol, and he's, but maybe that's part of the sun setting on his character. I mean, maybe he's, because he's 109 and decrepit, he's losing that, and that's part of his trajectory as a character. That this is something that he can't fully be in charge of anymore, which, I don't know, we do experience that in real life sometimes as we grow older. If you take care of your parents or whatever, Mom, put that down. Put it down.
That's not your banana.
Well, maybe, but that's not why she's doing it.
That's making me think of something though. Like, of all of the main artifacts that he's going after in these movies, like the magical artifacts, he doesn't actually have anything to do with the opening of the Ark. He doesn't have anything to do with the use of the Sankara stones. He doesn't have anything to do with the use of the crystal skull. The only one he actively used was the Grail.
Yeah.
And so in a sense, he's kind of given up his agency in a lot of these. Or else his agency was to choose not to use it.
But he doesn't look at the Ark, right? So he doesn't see really what's going on there. He doesn't get to, talk to the knight at the end of Crusade for too long because the whole thing comes crumbling down. He talks about belief, right? It's how hard you believe. And isn't that his line? It's not what you believe, it's how hard you believe it. Well, he's
it sounds
finally
like Peter Pan too.
Yeah.
Is that even true? Wait a minute.
He's finally got the opportunity to not just sort of really sort of believe it, because he's right there. He doesn't have to believe it. He's right there.
Yeah.
And he's finally, he's a studious guy. He's a smart guy. He's finally got the opportunity to, that no one has ever had before to or except Archimedes maybe, but to really get into it with someone from the past on the ground in real time, and even speaks the language, for God's sake. I mean, come on, what is she doing? Yeah,
actually, that's suddenly blowing my mind. Did Archimedes ever use it to go into our time, or into the 60s?
I don't think you can do a thing with that thing. All it can do is predict when time. Jamie, I love thinking about Jamie listening to us and not knowing what we're talking about. It can predict when time fissures are going to show up. Time fissures that he has no access to. He can't possibly use them. Like they're all up in the sky.
Because he hasn't got a plane yet.
I want to see
he hasn't built
Archimedes
his
in the
catapult
60s
yet
now.
that'll shoot him into the Well, Jamie, let me ask you, because there's a moment in this movie that I'm stuck on where I'll just ask you out of the context of the movie. Does Indiana Jones, your buddy over 3 or 4 movies, does he strike you as somebody who has a deep love of history?
Yeah.
Okay. But
okay. Let me clarify.
Okay.
I think that he has a love of learning about history and of being an authoritative source of knowledge in history.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because we see over and over again that he derives his power in society from his knowledge of history and being I know those languages, or I have this information about these past items, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I don't know if that translates to a genuine love of history or what that really means, but he definitely loves to know those things and to learn about those things.
Okay.
And to Indy-splain those things.
And Indy,
yeah.
And then ride roughshod over all of it.
Yeah, and then break it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, because there's a moment in this movie at the end that we're talking about where he's faced with the opportunity of staying literally in the past with Archimedes, but his explanation of that is I've lived this, I've studied this all my life, and now I could actually live it. Oh my God, he's hugely emotional about it, and for some reason, to me, that struck me as I don't see Indy he loves the stuff and he loves the chase, and like you say, he loves knowing about stuff and he loves being an expert and pays the bills as a teacher, but I never really saw him as having an emotional thirst and love of history necessarily. I could be wrong. I keep asking everybody this, and maybe I should just shut up.
Well, it's interesting because the opening of Last Crusade is the origin of Indiana Jones, right? Mm-hmm. And it shows him going through this experience as a child that leads him into this career, but the experience he goes through does not really have to do with a love of history.
Yeah.
Right. It's more an adventure.
It's about an item and getting into its proper place where other people can learn about it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's kind of strange is you see him spout forth a lot of facts and a lot of historical facts basically, but you don't necessarily see him, as you said, fully engaged in the love of history. He's the guy who knows all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then he puts it out as a matter of exposition for the film.
Right. Yeah. He only learns as much as he needs to know to keep the plot moving.
I mean, I'm kind of going back and I'm thinking, I don't feel that way. I do get the, in Raiders on the chalkboard scene with the, it's a staff around the thing and wiped clean by the wrath of God, whatever. Yeah, I do get the impression that he loves history there.
That's actually
even
true.
though he's putting forth facts.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that is a bunch of facts. But, the most interesting part about it, and maybe the reason I do feel that in that scene, is he actually goes, nah, Abner's your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a humility there. He's like, nah,
Right.
you got to talk to Abner, not me.
And the same in Last Crusade with his dad. He's like, no, this is my dad's thing. This isn't me.
Yeah.
I think in Temple of Doom, he's genuinely interested in what's going on at Pancot Palace, but yeah.
He seems to get interested,
Which is interesting because that one he was
more...
literally just dropped into by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah,
by
it feels
falling out
more
of a
about
plane.
like he enjoys the challenge of solving a mystery and like
Yeah.
using the knowledge that he has to solve the mystery.
Well, I gotta say, in Temple of Doom, he gets the Sankara stones pretty early on, like, I don't know, 30 or 40 minutes in, and he's about to leave the palace. And it's kinda one of my- he looks down and he sees all the kids and the slave labor, like, down in the hole, and he's like, oh my God, really?
He flips a coin.
Do I
Yeah.
have to? I mean,
This is-
come on.
Real Qui-Gon Jinn not freeing Anakin's mom kind of situation.
Right. It was really easy for Qui-Gon to just be like, no,
Yeah.
it's not my job.
Is that a Sankara stone behind you? Did you grab one of those things?
So our in our last minute, we had another archaeologist on, Ed Barnhart, and we asked him if he could go after any artifact in history, what would it be? Because we were sort of talking about how this was the first movie that went after actual, real, tangible artifacts that have been found, and completely gave him a different meaning. But he had a great one. He said he would go after the Royal Khmer sacred sword that was lost in the 70s, but that people knew about. But I was curious what the two of you, if you were Indiana Jones, or you had to come up with the next Indiana Jones movie, what would you have him go after?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Thanks for putting us on the spot.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's what we do.
It has to be something that's lost or that we like know is lost.
No, not necessarily. It could be anything.
Because again, I have this fan fiction in my head where they're reuniting all of the items from the Beijing Summer Palace that were looted. And I think I would love to see him do something with that.
That'd be cool. So it's not like so much like an item with some sort of mystical power or anything. It's more just like Indy in an adventure, a kind of grounded, earthbound adventure with Shorty doing some good with his adventuring skills.
Yeah. If it was going to be more of a mystical one, I think it would be really cool to engage with like the Norse sagas and the various like magical artifacts which are mentioned in the Norse sagas, which some like kind of analogs of those artifacts have been found in like Iceland and northern Scotland. So that would be cool too.
That would be.
That'd be
I wanted
a very
there to be
cinematic location too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted them to do a crossover with Marvel and have them go after Thor's hammer. But it didn't happen.
Yeah. They could have a
Yet.
Chris Hemsworth cameo.
It's interesting though, because the Summer Palace stuff, didn't a lot of that end up in Europe, like in museums?
Yes.
So that would be an interesting one. He'd be kind of like a monuments man, or like he'd just be going around trying to unloot looted stuff.
or you know, there's a lot of those items that went into private collections, though, like British and French soldiers came home with things that they had looted, and those are like passed down through families and have never been back in a public kind of viewing collection. So,
You know what's kind of interesting about that, I guess, as just thinking about pilferers, is if you do that and you have this valuable piece like the Ankar sword, or you're a Donovan, let's say, and you can't sell it. It just gets passed down from person to person to person within your family. You start to wonder, well, what's the value of these things? If you can't sell them, I do understand there's a black market, and the Donovan is fueling the black market, and it's just going into Donovan's, living room. But to a certain extent, you're like, what is the value of any of this stuff if you can't sell it? And I have to deal, like every once in a while, I'll have a piece of, I don't know, somebody will, a famous drummer or somebody will contact me and say, hey, I want to get rid of this thing, and I used it on this album and this tour, but I don't want it associated with my name for whatever reason. And you're just like, well, dude, if it's not associated, it's plummeting in value, and it's pointless to sell. Like, you're not going to get $50,000 for this unless it's associated with your name. Yeah. So even though the the value is, I guess, mutable, or at that point it's like, well, what, not a snare drum that's $400, but maybe if it's associated with something 30,000, it's like, well, if you take the association away, then now it's $400, even though the piece is exactly the same.
Well, that's like this whole thing about provenance and why it's so important, when you look at like museum pieces or pieces up for like auction at Christie's or Sotheby's, that they have that like document trail to prove that they are what they say they are.
There was a great book I read a few years ago about tracking down a lost Caravaggio, or a Caravaggio painting that they found. It was like in I don't remember, like a monastery in Ireland or something.
By the way, I swear to God, I thought you were going to say Man in the High Castle.
I know. I I almost did. But in this story where they're trying to prove the provenance of this, they talk about famous art forgeries in history and how like a huge percentage of art in national galleries all around the world is fake.
Oh,
but
wow.
There were people that actually would go in to like the Tate, and they would put fake references into their library.
Wow.
Like they would
God.
paste fake like auction records, or they would generate fake provenance, and then they would sneak it. They would check out, like books that had this stuff in it, but they would, instead of taking stuff from the books, they would paste stuff into the books. So then when people come later, they say, oh, there's this piece of art, is there any provenance to it? And then that would be fake too.
Wow.
Yeah.
But then couldn't you have like two, real items? Like two, like if you follow the paper trail, they both seem to be completely real.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But that's kind of the whole thing about these movies, is that the whole thing that makes these valuable for humans is that they're left where they are in context, so that they mean something. They tell us something about where they came from and what they mean. Otherwise, we're all sort of engaging in magical thinking, like they mean something because of the story we're telling about them.
Well, it's a little bit like... Oh, go ahead, Jamie.
I was just going to say, I don't think that Indiana Jones is particularly concerned with provenance. Literally the first thing that we see him doing is taking an idol out of a temple, out of its context, and like fleeing with it. So, I don't think he's too concerned about that.
Well, you think like the Ark of the Covenant is in, where's it, Aksum, Ethiopia, and you're like, so what's the value of that? If that's true, it's okay. And if it's a little bit like if you're looking at the real Caravaggio or the fake Caravaggio, but you still go to the museum and stare at it, is your experience changed?
God, Tom, I so badly want to do the Man in the High Castle one again.
Go ahead, Pete. It's almost our last episode. Just do it.
Go ahead. Do it, Pete. Do it.
It's good.
There's a lighter, and it might have been real.
I mean, to answer your question, Jerry, I feel like the Ark of the Covenant that they have in Ethiopia is still like a living artifact. And there's this whole conversation going on in archaeology about like, once something is cataloged and put into a museum or put into a collection, the artifact kind of like exits human life and stops really having meaning. Whereas that Ark of the Covenant is still like a really powerful economic engine for the town that it's in. It's still involved in like the life of the community. So
would you then extend, is that why you didn't watch Dial of Destiny? You don't want it. You just want to. You don't need to see the Ark of the Covenant for Aksum. You know that it's a living, breathing thing, and similarly, you're not going to watch Dial of Destiny because you have your own ending with Short Round. It's still very much alive. We're not putting it wrapped in a canon.
Yes, you are like naming why I'm doing this. So thank you. I appreciate that you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Nice, awesome.
I'd have thought, Pete, because you mentioned paintings, and I think the one that I want Indy to go for is because he's obviously Jones, so he's got a bit of Irish blood in him.
Oh,
and what I'm thinking of is the St. Patrick's Day heist in Boston in 1990. Where there's two guys dressed as cops in the early hours of St. Patrick's Day went into the I had to look it up because I didn't remember the museum. It was the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum.
Yes.
And they stole it's like 13 paintings they stole, but one in particular was Rembrandt's only seascape, the Storm on the Sea of Galilee, and it's never been found somewhere in the world. So I think that would be a cool thing for him to go after.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great choice, Neil.
Yeah,
That is cool.
Also,
that's great.
highly recommend the Netflix documentary about that heist.
Oh,
It's
really?
very,
Love
it's
a good
very
heist.
engaging, and also the 1990s Boston accents. They're so good.
Well, speaking of Boston, when I was a college student in Boston, I think I told the story before. I bought an Empire Strikes Back poster from this cool place on Newbury Street, and it was and I paid a lot of money for a college student, and under the impression that it was like an original from like the first run of the movie and everything and stuff, and and so I have it framed and everything. And as I was having it framed, the guy he's like, I'm not told. I think this is like one of those reprint deals and they make it look like it's real. I'm like, and so it's kind of like, I spent years being like, I don't know if it's real or not. And they're like, well, finally, I don't care. Like Jerry says, you're looking at it. You're studying it. It's the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life. It's The Empire Strikes Back. Maybe at the end of the day, people should let go of like, the whole like Pete's got a story about Man in the High Castle, which is like lighter, and whether or not
The weird place I learned about art forgery, the A-Team. Ooh, they had an episode where they had an art forger,
show.
and I think Murdoch was a master art forger.
Whoa!
And he was like painting. He painted fake masterpieces and like put them into pizza boxes, and they would be delivered. That was his whole thing.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
Wow, people could do that.
Man,
That sounds like the B team.
He did that, and he drugged Mr. T.
yeah.
The lab where I did my PhD was originally founded as a way to scientifically determine art forgeries.
Oh wow!
Like
wow,
that,
cool.
that was the original purpose of this lab. So
Wow.
to do like chemical analysis of the paint on art forgeries to see
So where
if
do
they
you-
had used like old materials.
Where do you sit on the Shroud of Turin?
I don't think you're supposed to.
They're like That's a
That
much
one
better
keeps
joke.
going back and forth and back and
It
forth and
does.
back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like the radiocarbon dates are maybe wrong. So, I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that one keeps resurfacing. Kind of like bad linen.
Yeah.
Or bad pennies. No,
Bad pennies.
Wah, wah.
Well, speaking of resurfacing like a bad penny,
Oh,
oh,
oh my God!
this just in from Professor Christy Porter. If you had to create an award for Indiana Jones, what would it be and where is the reception?
Oh, wow. It's in the history department of Hunter College, I guess, and he gets a clock. Oh wait, no, that was his retirement party. That's a good question. It could be like just like a regular like karate trophy or something, but it's like a little gold Indiana Jones with a whip or something. He's like doing some feat of daring do, and the reception is the Marshall College gymnasium.
I'm going to give him best outfit,
oh,
Ooh.
best costume.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's a good
He looks
one.
good. He always looks the part.
I'm gonna give
Yeah.
him longest worn costume.
Yeah,
Lion
smelliest
tamer.
costume.
Such good character.
60 years without changing.
Yeah, stinkiest lion tamer.
Well, where would it be held?
That place near you, Pete. That's the old Clipper plane.
Oh, the
Treasure
Treasure
Island.
Island, the old Pan Am. Yeah,
That's
the
beautiful Art
World's Fair.
Deco building.
Yeah.
Let's have it there.
Okay.
That was also where the Zeppelin airport hangar or Zeppelin airport from Last Crusade was filmed
Oh,
in
yeah.
that building.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Perfect.
That would be a fun
Yeah.
party.
Yeah,
There'd be balloons and everything, I bet.
and Pat Roach would be there.
Aw.
Zeppelin shaped
Yes.
balloons.
Oh. Maybe balloon animals. Of monkeys.
He'd get one and he'd hand it to the guy as he walked out.
Yeah, here, I don't want to stink a balloon animal. I don't like any of this.
I got a story for you guys. Do you want a story?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Pete knows the story already. Pete actually heard it firsthand, but I'll tell you guys. So my sister-in-law, Sherry, this is my wife's youngest brother's wife. She grew up in LA, and Pete and I both recently met her dad. We were hanging out in San Francisco last September last year for like a family get together, and Pete got introduced to most of my wife's sort of extended family, and including Sherry's dad, Roger. Lovely guy, Roger. So we go back about 20 years, right? So it's the day of Sherry's high school prom. And I understand the tradition prior to the prom is for friends to gather at someone's house. And Sherry and her friends did this at her house, at Roger and Renee's house in LA, in their beautiful garden. And parents of these friends are also invited. You know, drinks are had, maybe some canapes, photos are taken.
Sounds lovely.
And obviously all the girls are dressed up, right, in their lovely prom gowns. And the parents are taking photos. And one guy has a video camera. And so it's 20 years ago, so it's one of those nice big sort of shoulder-mounted ones. And Roger, being the super nice guy that he is, goes over to this guy and says, "Oh, hey, I think there might be a better shot if you sort of come over this way." And the guy takes the camera off his shoulder and says, "Great, thanks very much." And it's Steven Spielberg. And Roger, the environmental lawyer, is schooling Spielberg on that.
That's incredible.
Wow, that's awesome.
You know what I've wanted to ask him and I never did was if he was right.
Oh yeah,
Was it a better
just
shot?
like totally bum. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
So that was a good
that's
one.
a great story.
So how many degrees of separation is that then for you and Steven Spielberg now?
Well, Sherry grew up with as really good friends with Spielberg's daughter.
Okay.
So not too many. Yeah.
Nice.
If you guys, it's a shame you're ending the show because I probably could have got him on, and it's probably too late now. So,
Now you tell us.
Yeah.
If you want to ask him any questions or anything, I can probably.
All right. We'll make a list.
Yeah, for Disclosure Day minute.
Yeah.
Well, and also, if you could get Steven Spielberg on, we could presumably get Kate Capshaw on.
That'd be fun.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
That'd be amazing.
But not Kiwi Kwan. Apparently we just don't care.
We don't
We'll
want
never
him
have him back. He's not part of the franchise anymore.
Not in my head.
No.
The other connection I have to this movie is that Jez Butterworth, who's one of the writers, goes to the same barber as I do in London. Same guy cuts our hair.
Wow.
And that guy who cuts our hair is the lead singer of punk rock band called, what's their name? I'll remember it. But yeah, some band. He's a lead singer. He's a cool guy, Charlie. But I imagine he's nuts on stage.
Man. Wait, did your barber
Yeah, a lot
tell
of
you
famous
that
people.
he also cuts the screenwriters' hair?
I was getting my hair cut last week, and Charlie's like he's a bit younger than me, but he's a fan of like old retro sort of 80s and 90s. So we normally talk video games or old movies.
Yeah.
And in his barbershop, he's got loads of VHS videotapes, and he's got like an old VHS player. So there's always something playing on the TV.
Cool.
And a couple of months ago, my mum is moving house. We've been in this family homes for 40 years, and she's moving. She's just her now, so it's too big. So she's moving out. So she was like, "Neil, you got to come up and get all your stuff from the attic." So I went up. There's a lot of comic books, a lot of VHS videotapes, and I sold all of the comic books, or most of them, on eBay. Anyway, the VHSs, I thought, you know what? I don't need to sell these. I'll give them all to Charlie. So I went
nice.
to get a haircut a few months ago and took like 3 massive bags full of there's about 70 VHS videotapes. So he was very happy. Didn't give me a free haircut, but that's fine. It's okay. But yeah, we just got chatting last week. Well, anyway, so because we always talk about these sorts of things, and because I knew I was coming on the show, I said, "Hey, what do you think of this of Dial of Destiny? What did you make of it?" So he gave me some thoughts, and he says, he moved on to something else, and then he goes, "Oh, and by the way, like the writer Jez Butterworth, he comes here and I cut his hair as well." And I'm like, "You just didn't tell me that right at the start." Yeah. Like, okay, thanks. Like, that's a big thing. So yeah, that's a thing. And then I think the other connection that is a bit looser is Pete, you probably know this. The train.
Hometown.
I think is it the train sequence that they filmed up in the northeast of England?
Yeah, well, the castle at the beginning.
It's Bamburgh Castle.
Is it Bamburgh Castle?
Yeah.
It's such a. You guys, if you ever make it up to Bamburgh Castle, you'd be in for a real treat. It's absolutely beautiful. It's right there on the beach.
Neil's
really
ancestral
cool.
castle.
Oh wow.
No, sadly not. Mine's my ancestral castle is up in near Inverary. It's called Dunderave Castle. It's now owned by it's the old McNaughton clan castle. And it's now owned by a Canadian dentist. Which is a bit not
Does
the
he
best.
practice out of it, or?
You get free haircuts out of it.
We could tell the
should knock on
story
the
of the
door.
of the modern world through dentists and hairdressers and
Yeah. So we need to get you bulleted lists of questions for Steven Spielberg, Jez Butterworth,
Right.
some
But there
castle
was
dentist.
because they filmed it up in the northeast. There was one day where they it was like, and I was up there at the time, and I don't live up there anymore. But for some reason I was up there, and and I'm not on any social media, but my mum is on Facebook, and my mum said to me, "Why is Harrison Ford at the Ship's Cat on the Fish Quay?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about, Mum?" She's like, "In North Shields, there's a bar restaurant. It's closed down now, but a couple of years ago, it's called the Ship's Cat. And Harrison Ford, they were on a break from filming, I guess, or they just wrapped it up or something, and they all went for lunch at the Ship's Cat.
Nice.
And word got out, and loads of people sort of turned up at the Ship's Cat, and he stood there signing autographs. I didn't go along, but stood signed autographs and all that sort of stuff.
Guy can't even just eat his lunch.
Yeah.
That's
That's what I took from that story. God, just leave him alone.
You feel bad just because you didn't get a nice lunch.
Poor man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. This has been awesome. I
Yeah.
hope you've had fun. We've had fun.
Great time.
That's fun.
And in a previous version of this episode, you plugged all the all the previous stuff you guys have done together. So
Well, Jamie
why
and
don't you do
I-
that again?
Jamie and I, a couple of years ago, I was going to say recently, but it was a couple of years ago now, we did a podcast called Science and Magic, the films of Studio Ghibli, and where we talk about each of the Studio Ghibli movies, one after another in release order, up until the last one, because we'd already wrapped by the time they brought out the last one. And I'm like you, Jamie, I've not seen that, The Boy and the Heron, because I just want to leave it as, Miyazaki's perfect thing, and I don't want to see it.
Fair. I totally understand.
Is there a concern that it just won't be as good? He seems to have a really good batting average, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
I haven't seen most of them, but
Yeah, but when you really care about something, you can build it up in your head,
sure.
I get it.
Oh yeah. I usually just barrel through anyway and watch all the Star Wars stuff, no matter what happens.
I was on your when Marnie was there episode. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a good one for you, Pete, because it's a bit. She's quite a thing, right?
An anxiety thing.
Yeah, exactly. We picked that one especially for Pete.
Well, speaking of anxiety, I think I don't know what to say. I guess our next episode is our last episode. Is that right, you guys?
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Wow.
But it's still happening,
Wow.
so you should come back next week and see what happens. How does this thing end? I don't know. Jamie hasn't even seen the whole thing, so how does she know?
Then you should go on to doing a podcast about the video game, the new Indiana Jones video game.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, what?
Maybe.
We did one
never
episode
has
about
to
it,
end.
but then one of our co-hosts hasn't played it.
Yeah. Jerry doesn't like video
Well,
games.
I like
There was
The day you would have to tell me that Jerry Porter would have to be forced to play a video game.
Yeah.
I
can't
like it
believe
just being a living, breathing thing.
Leave it.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't have to
there was an Anything Goes a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago, and Pete, you brought this up, and it was something I think Tom you'd suggested, which was to do like a live watch along.
Oh yeah, like a
commentary or
track.
something.
Yeah.
Now, I was listening to this episode of Anything Goes when I was walking through the park, and Tom says like, maybe to wrap up this whole project, we could do commentary tracks. Now, remember, I'm walking through the park, right? I'm listening to this, and Tom says we could do commentaries for Raiders or for all of the movies. And I could just see Jerry's face like he's standing in me, because Jerry immediately says, well, Raiders was the first love.
Fair enough.
Don't make me watch these movies again.
Poor kid. He's been through a lot.
Poor Jerry.
Poor Jerry. Well, listen. Thank you guys so much. As Neil just mentioned, we do have a bonus show over there. We're running out of this show, but you can listen to our bonus show over at patreon.com/Indiana Jones Minute. And you can get that. You can get early access to this show that doesn't exist anymore after next week.
Well, we will at some point have a new show coming out.
Yes,
that
we are
is
working
not
on
about
a new show.
a movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
So
don't know if you guys have got guests on the next episode, right? But on behalf of the listeners and the guests, I just wanted to say thank you to the three of you for putting so much time and effort
Thank you,
into
Neil.
talking about these movies, because it's been a real joy to listen to you guys talk about it for the last 10 years or whatever it is.
wow,
So
thank you.
Agreed.
Thank you. Wow.
Agreed.
Aw, thank you guys. That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
You win an award of some sort. Permanent award.
It'll be held at
Best
Mercer College.
Yeah, we get a commemorative clock.
Yeah.
A balloon
all I
animal.
Yeah. I'd keep that balloon animal. Well, thank you both. Thanks everybody for listening. Please come back next week, because we're not gone yet. Right here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Jones?
Jones!
Jones. Used to say Jones.
We used to do Jones all the time.
Say
Yeah.
Jones
Yeah.
anymore. So-
We're older now.
Yes, we're more mature.
We don't
just
do
yell
that. We
Jones for no
just want to
reason.
be left back in the past. I just want to be like
Just
left.
want to have your lunch.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah.
have my lunch without yelling Jones.
Yeah, just leave me. Can't I just stay in 1981?